So something that I just kind of came up with here recently are these little pieces whenever you're sanding or routing the profile on something. There's no really good way to clamp it and the piece is moving around on your workbench. So something I kind of did was had just this scrap sheet of 1/2" MDF laying around. And I had this from my homemade track saw kit thing. It's a rug traction roll. I think I got it at Home Depot. Pretty cheap, but it's got rubber on one side and then it's got an adhesive backing on the other. So what I'm going to do is just cut a little piece off and put it on each side of this, and what it can do is allow it to put your workpiece on there and then sand or route or whatever you're wanting to do, and not have the piece move around on you. So I cut these just to a little bit smaller than the square on this. So what this is going to be is actually for something else. It's only going to have one side on it, but this will have one on each side. There's 4 of these that I cut out. So you can just lay it out and then cut it to length here. And this stuff cuts pretty easy with just regular scissors. So there you have that, and then I'll just tear the adhesive film off of the back, and then we'll place this on here. And then we'll do the same thing for the other side. And you can see this has like a little grid pattern on it. So it can adhere pretty well to whatever your workbench or whatever your workpiece is. So there's one. And as you can see, you can put your workpiece down, and that's not going anywhere. And then just take this piece of oak. So if you had 4 of them, and then that thing's not moving whenever you're trying to sand it or route it, whatever you want to do. And it is nice if you don't have dog holes or a vise or something to hold your piece down. So there's 4 of these that I made, and on these I made them a little bit rectangular. That way it has more surface area to hold on to. So if you have 4 of them like this, that's not going anywhere when you're sanding. You don't have clamps getting in the way or anything like that. So there's that, and then so that's more for, like I said, sanding, or you're wanting to route a profile around the edge of your piece, or even if you want to route the inside of it. The only thing would be to make sure that you're using the same thickness of material. So this is 1/2" MDF. That way your piece is level. You don't have 1/2", then 3/4 and 1/4 on another or something. So make sure those are all the same and pretty cheap to do. Like I said, this rug traction roll is pretty cheap as well. So then the other thing that I decided to do, we'll do the same thing. So we'll just cut a piece, and we'll put this piece on one side. So we'll cut this to length. Attach it. do with this is take, I had a bunch of these wire nuts laying around. You can use any size of them, whatever you want. So I'm taking these, and then I'm just going to super glue, or you can hot glue them, or epoxy, or whatever you want to do. You can get as fancy with this as you want, or as cheap as you want. So I have a bunch of these laying around, these things. So then we'll just attach that in the center. So let's just put a little bit of crazy glue around it. And attach that right in the center. And then once that dries, what that's going to do is make 4 of these. So you have the rubber traction on the bottom, and then your wire nut or whatever you wanted to do up on top. And then that allows, if you're staining or finishing a workpiece, it just has a real small point that it is contacting. So you would have 4 of these around your workpiece, setting it on, and then you can finish it. And then if you had to flip it over, only a small portion of the wire nut here is actually touching the piece, so you're not transferring all that finish or whatever to, it's not coming off and you're not transferring it to that. So yeah, so just a little tip, just kind of came up with them. So if you have these things laying around, this is the traction mat, and it comes in a roll, 25-foot roll. So this stuff will last you for a while. And like I said, I kind of did a homemade track saw kit with MDF and plywood, 3/4 inch plywood, and then I put those along the back there. And then so whenever you have that down, you can run your circular saw across it and it holds it in place. And I've used this a ton. I'm actually going to use it to cut down this this 4x8 sheet of plywood. So here in a few minutes. So yeah, there you go. It works out pretty well. So yeah, I hope you found this useful. Have a good day.